What's up, Tan and J-Man Show Nation? This is Tanner Lee, one half of the Tan and J-Man Show. And on behalf of myself and my co-host, Josh the J-Man Munt, we want to thank you for listening to our podcast. While you're at it, on whatever platform you're listening on, please hit that subscribe button. And if it happens to be on Apple Podcasts, please give us a rating and review. That really helps us out. If you're interested in watching our show is recorded live every Monday from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch that on the ISC Sports Network, on the free ISC Sports Network app, on the ISC Sports Network Facebook page, and their Twitter page. While you're at it, on the social media channels, please give us a like on our Facebook page. Please give us a follow on our Twitter and Instagram page at Tan and J-Man Show. And if you want to support our podcast and look great doing so, we have a merchandise store. You can go to any of our social media pages, click the link, click Tan and J-Man Show store, and you'll find whatever you're looking for. Short sleeve t-shirts, long sleeve t-shirts, coffee mugs, you name it, we got it. So thanks again for supporting the podcast. Now sit back, relax, and here comes another exciting brand new episode of the Tan and J-Man Show.
We're back with another episode of the Tan and J-Man Show on this extremely warm late May afternoon here in just gorgeous Rochester, Indiana. How you doing tonight there, Tan, man?
I'm doing well, man. Yeah. Doing well. Like
played a lot of golf over the weekend.
Played a lot of golf up in Michigan and in Indiana. Watched a lot of golf. Got a lot of golf to talk about tonight. It's a golf-full episode. I
was going to say, you all golfed out?
Close, but no.
You ever reach that point where you're just like...
Yeah.
Usually when football starts, right?
As we come August, I get pretty burnt out. But I'm trying to limit myself. You know, I play golf league every Thursday night, 9 holes, and then I usually play at least 18 on the weekend, if not 36. 45 to 54 holes max for the week's good for me. Anything over that's a little too much.
What was your best round this weekend?
I shot 87 Friday at a really nice course. Took a 9 on a hole. That kind of hurt.
That does hurt.
Shot 11 under in the scramble on Saturday. We tied for second. So we get free entry next year, which is nice. And shot 86 here in Rochester yesterday in the tournament. So that's my year average right now, 86. I just kind of in that funk.
It'll creep lower as the weather starts getting warmer. You start getting out more consistently.
Hope you're right.
It'll get better. That handicap will drop.
Look in the J-Man crystal ball.
Yes, it's right up here, right? J-Man crystal ball. You got something to say?
Yes, I do, real quick. Order any merch yet?
No.
I'm
bad at that.
Yes, you are.
You're wearing merch right now.
I am. I'm going to stand up for the camera this week and show this off so I don't close the screen. But, yeah. It's one of the new Tan and J-Man Show shirts you can purchase at tanandjmanshowstore.com. We got short sleeve t-shirts, long sleeve t-shirts that you don't really need right now, but coming a couple months.
Friday you might.
Yeah. We got hoodies. We got zip-ups. We got coffee mugs. We got tank tops. Show off the guns in the summer. All kinds of stuff. We got Book It t-shirts and hoodies. So
Book It.
tanandjmanshowstore.com.
Yes, sir. Got some birdie bogey for me?
I do.
Am I going to get it right this week?
I don't know. It's football related. I like to try to relate it to an event going on, but I wasn't going to give you an Indy 500 question. I could. That would have been funny, but...
It would have been funny for you.
I had heard this NFL trivia, and I liked it, so I'm like, I'm going to roll with that. It's all active players.
Okay.
Who's the only active guy in the NFL that has rushed for at least 8 touchdowns the last 5 seasons? So each season he's ran for at least 8 touchdowns or more.
In each of the last 5 seasons?
Yeah.
That's a good
It's only one guy that has done it. Yep.
Birdie Bogies brought to you by Noble Gnome LLC for fresh, locally grown, nutrient-dense produce from Bryce and Katie Romine of Mentone, Indiana. Like them on Facebook, follow them on Instagram, and check out their website, noblegnomellc.com. Are they going to be selling sweet corn this year, do you know?
Yes, they will be. It's just not ready yet.
I was going to say, it's about getting to sweet corn season here right around the 4th of July, I think.
Yeah, July. Early July sounds about right.
Did you say they're selling flowers, too?
Yep, selling flowers. So it's not just vegetables and produce, but they got flowers as well, all different kinds. I don't know the kinds off the top of my head. I should, but I don't.
Get some stuff.
Yeah, get some flowers, get some veggies.
You took my thing. I was going to say,
I'm on a roll. I'm just rolling. I'm rolling right now.
Rolling with it.
I'm rolling right now. But while I get this show shared on our socials, why don't you do some do some Cub reports.
Yeah, Cubs had a pretty good week here. Actually, a really good week. It was kind of an emotional roller coaster. The first part of the week with the 4-game series against the Washington Nationals. Old buddy Johnny Lester came back for the Nationals and pitched on Monday night. That was the weirdest I've ever felt watching a Cubs game. It didn't seem real. Even when he was out there, Cubs knocked him around pretty good, which was nice to see. It was just strange. Kyle Schwarber hits a homer for the Nats. Of course, they got huge standing ovations, both of them. Schwarber ended up having a pretty good series. He had a homer on Thursday as well.
Got some Twix, too.
Got some Twix,
Or was it Kit Kat? Twix?
It was Twix.
Twix.
Chris Bryant left his old buddy some Twix out there in left field for him. There's a lot of Twix out there, too. I love Twix. Nobody ever leaves me Twix. But no one really likes me like they do Schwarbs.
I'm not disagreeing with you there.
But yeah, Johnny Lester, greatest free agent signing in the franchise history. He was the guy, when they signed him, it was like, okay, they're for real. They're going for it. Finally, he raised the ceiling. He raised the floor. And he said he was going to come there and win a championship, and he did. He won a World Series in 2016. Phenomenal player, phenomenal teammate, one of the most generous guys you'll ever be around. He, after the season last year, after he signed with the Nationals, once bars kind of opened back up in the Chicagoland area, he had a few different bars he had where he gave his credit card to, and he said any Miller Lite somebody orders is on him.
That was a Bud Light.
Pretty sure it's Miller.
Okay.
It might have been a Bud Light. I'm not sure. I know Schwarber loves Miller Lite, but I'm not sure unless I'm pretty sure it was Miller though. Now you got me confused. But anyway, he paid for all the Miller Lite in the Chicagoland area one Friday night. I think he spent over $55,000, which of course when you've made close to $200 million.
Pocket change.
Not that big of a deal, but still,
nice
generous
gesture.
guy. He, when Anthony Rizzo was diagnosed with cancer back when he was 18 years old, freshly drafted by the Red Sox. Of course, Lester went through the exact same thing. Lester really took Rizzo under his wing and was kind of his mentor, and they've become really good friends, and it was fun and funny to see them because Lester grounded out to Rizzo in his first plate appearance, and Rizzo just kind of nonchalantly grabbed the ball and flipped it over, and you could read Lester's lips said, "I hate you." So that was a pretty funny moment. But Cubs knocked him around really good, which I was hoping for. Jason Hayward hit a homer off him. Wilson Contreras hit a homer off him. Javier Baez hit a homer off him. And the Cubs ended up with a really, really good week. Went 5-2 this week. They took 3-4 from the Nationals, then had a huge series win on the road in St. Louis last night. They're playing really good baseball at home so far this year. They are, I'm going to go look it up real quick if I can. I know at home they are 16-9, so they've been one of the best teams at home in baseball. They're only 8-13 on the road, but it was huge to beat a division rival, 2-3 on the road, especially the team leading the division at the time. But really, this entire month, they've played fantastic baseball. They're sitting here after going 11-15 in April. Trade talks were already chattering up about Chris Bryant, Jock Peterson, even Anthony Rizzo, Javier Baez, those kind of guys. And there was a report that the front office and president of baseball ops, Jed Hoyer, said that how they play in May what they do in July will depend on how they play in May. They're sitting here at 13-7 in the month of May with a plus 30 run differential. Offense this month has hit 263 with a 336 on base percentage, 420 slugging percentage. This is after hitting 216 in the month of April/March. They're making more contact. David Ross is pushing all the right buttons as far as his lineups go. They're playing really good baseball offensively. Pitching's been substantially better this month as well. In the month of April/March, the first part of the year, their pitching staff had a 4.89 ERA this month in the 20 games, 2.84 ERA. The starters in the first month of the year, 5.81 ERA. This month, 3.55 ERA. The relievers, I can confidently say, for maybe the first time in my entire life, that the Chicago Cubs have the best bullpen in all of baseball. They have a 1.89 ERA this month, and as a whole, their reliever ERA is 3.02 ERA, and if you take out Shelby Miller's 2 innings where he gave up 7 earned runs, they have an ERA of about 2.75. They're leading baseball in strikeout percentage, their bullpen is. They're second in ground ball rate. They're third. They have the third lowest slugging percentage against, and their ERA is top 3 in all of baseball, and it's number 1 in the National League. They're missing bats. Craig Kimbrell's been fantastic in the 9th inning. Andrew Chafin's been fantastic in the 8th inning. Ryan Tepera pulled a rabbit out of his hat last night. Cardinals had bases loaded, nobody out in the 7th inning of a 0-0 game facing Tommy Edman, Paul Goldschmidt, and Nolan Arenado. Got Edman to ground into a 4-2 putout. Got Goldschmidt to pop out to catcher, and then got Arenado to strike out there, and the Cubs ended up winning the ball game. Bullpen's been fantastic. Rotation's been so much better this month. Zach Davies' ERA this month is 1.74, I believe. Kyle Hendricks' ERA this month is under 3. They're starting to get length as well out of the starters, because that was been a huge bugaboo so far. They in the first month of the year, they had the lowest or the second least amount of innings pitched per 9 innings as far as the rotation is concerned. So that just puts a ton of strain on the bullpen. And, of course, the bullpen's probably going to regress a little bit because you can't really keep this pace. But so far, so good with them. And hopefully they can continue to win ball games. They have a week this week where they face 2 division rivals. They face the Pittsburgh Pirates, Cincinnati Reds, the 2 worst teams in the NL Central and 2 of the worst teams in the National League so far. But they've struggled with the Pirates a little bit this year. Reds are still fairly dangerous as far as their offense is concerned. So just got to keep stacking series wins there, T-Dog.
They've sucked you right back in, haven't they?
Every week. This week they'll probably go 2-4, and I'll be out again. Yep, that's the nature of this Cubs team. They had of their previous 6 losses, all of them have been by 1 run. So they're pretty close to being pretty good, but at the same time, I'm not gonna say they're this really good team. But they do have the 4th best run differential in the National League. They're only 2 games behind the St. Louis Cardinals now. After being 5 games out on May 2nd. So just 3 weeks later, 22 days later, they're right back in the thick of things. And hopefully they can continue to play pretty good baseball.
David Ross got injected last night?
Yes, it was I'm sure you saw my Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
It was a rookie umpire. He's only 30 years old, so he's our age, essentially. Behind the plate. Not saying that means he's going to be bad, but it was the worst strike zone I have ever seen in my entire life.
That's saying something.
He was given at least 6 inches off the plate. Adam Wainwright was called, had 31 called strikes last night, which was tied for the most in the majors this year with Kyle Hendricks. In a start, 14 of them were not actually in the strike zone. 8 of those pitches started in at bat. So when you're getting up 0-1 every single time on pitches that aren't in the strike zone, your line's going to be looking pretty good there for Adam Wainwright. And it was. He pitched really well because of that. He had good stuff as well. Cubs didn't hit the ball hard against him at all, so that's not really an excuse of why they weren't scoring runs. But you got to get better, guys. That's why you need robot umpires. We have the technology. It's time to go. Even, I don't know if you watched any of the game last night.
I did not.
But the reason the Cardinals had bases loaded, nobody out in the 7th inning was because of a blown call at third base where it was a bunt attempt. Ryan Tepera kind of threw wide of the bag. David Bogey had to dive. He caught it. The umpire called him off the bag when his foot was clearly still on the bag, and he tagged the guy before he got there anyway. And they called him safe. Cubs didn't have a challenge because they blew it the inning before. I don't know if they need to add more challenges because you can't have calls blown that bad and not being able to challenge just because you lost one earlier in the game. Maybe give them 2 challenges. If it would have been the 8th inning, they could have challenged it anyway, no problem. But the fact that it was the 7th inning, I think is asinine that they couldn't challenge that. And it almost cost them the ball game, but it didn't. Javier Baez, who has been striking out at a rate of 40% of his plate appearances ended strikeouts this year, which is number 1 in baseball. He's still been incredibly productive. He had his 11th homer last night, which leads the team now off a nasty reliever in Alex Reyes, who the pitch before Javi hit the homer, Javi swung at a ball that bounced 4 feet in front of the plate. Then Reyes made
just a little short.
Reyes made the mistake of throwing him something in the strike zone, and Javi hit it 407 feet to dead center, and Cubs won the ball game. So hopefully they can keep playing pretty good.
So he tweeted it's time for David Bogey to pack his bags and go back to Iowa.
Yeah, David Bodie's in a real bad stretch right now. He's playing bad defense. He had an error the other night. That I don't remember if the run ended up scoring. But he's hitting 194 this year with a 271 on base, a 302 slugging percentage. This comes a year after he hit 200 with a 303 on base and a 408 slugging percentage. He plays okay defense at third base. He can play some second. His strikeout rate's slightly higher than league average. His walk rate is about league average. He's consistently hitting the ball hard, and that's what they'll say. But eventually, you have to start actually getting on base, and Bodie's not doing it. The problem is I don't know who you call up right now. I mean, they have some injuries. Jason Hayward's on the injured list. Anthony Rizzo's dealt with the back issue. Javi Baez dealt with the back issue. Bodie's still a solid utility guy, but he shouldn't be playing or getting nearly as many at-bats as he's getting right now. But I don't think he'll be sent down anytime soon. That's just my prediction.
A lot of teams around the league starting to heat up a little bit.
Yeah, San Diego Padres are on fire. They're sitting there. They have the best record in baseball right now, 30-17. Dodgers, after having that real bad stretch, they're up to 29-18. They're on fire. Giants swept the Reds in a 4-game series.
Division's tough at the top.
Annihilated them because the Reds stink. Rockies have actually started to play a little bit better. I mean, I don't know if they've
Diamondbacks
played better, but they have been better than the Diamondbacks. This is a crazy stat I saw earlier in the week, and I want to see if it's been updated at all since. Yet, it's about the same. Rockies at home, 16-12. Solid team at home, 2-17 on the road. And they say Coors Field isn't a home field advantage. They're getting outscored by 54 runs in 19 games on the road.
Why put a team there when they did back in 93?
I mean, it's an interesting
they got
idea.
a market. The
they
fans
have
had nobody to root for out there.
Whole Plains. I'm sure there's a lot of Cardinals fans out there. Yeah. I think it's an interesting job opening, though, their general manager position, because, I mean, you went out there and the people will love you.
Sure. You win a division.
Yeah.
You do something you've never done before.
Yeah. And it's an interesting challenge for a guy that might want to go out there and try to maybe we're just try something different.
Yeah.
I mean, what they're doing now isn't working.
No.
Charlie Blackmon, you can clearly tell once out, his effort level is so low. I don't know if you saw, I think he gave up it was Jake Cronenworth hit an inside the park homer. Charlie Blackmon was jogging to the ball. You could just tell he wants to get out.
Trevor Story's not going to be back. He's on the last year of his contract.
The problem with the old Chuck Blackmon is
nobody wants to eat that contract.
Nobody wants to eat that contract, and he's not very good anymore.
Nope.
Trevor Story's not having a good start to the season. Maybe he's starting to feel that contract year kind of pressure on him, but they're not very good.
And the guys that are coming through for him are guys you really never heard of.
Yeah, Josh Fuentes won NL Player of the Week last week. A few other baseball notes. Are we seeing too many no-hitters?
Yes.
I agree.
It's turning into the triple-double. Not. That's what I'm comparing it to. I mean, you still always got more triple-doubles, but triple-double used to be, at one time, a
Huge
really big
feat.
deal.
Yeah.
Sort of no-hitter. Now it's like, we've seen 6 before June.
And not to take away anything from the guys that are throwing them, but the guys that are throwing them should not be throwing no-hitters.
No.
Spencer Turnbull, John Means. John Means is having a good year for the Orioles, but some of these guys have no business throwing no-hitters. It used to be these top pitchers that are throwing them. Every once in a while we'll have some like flash in the pan. Guy comes out of nowhere like Philip Umber and throws a perfect game. We're seeing them about every single week anymore. And I mean, they've changed the ball again. Rob Manfred did, that idiot. A few years ago, ball was flying out of the ballpark at a record pace. Now we're seeing no hitters at a record pace. It's starting to mean very little now. I mean, Corey Kluber throws a no hitter. He's obviously a really good pitcher.
I was surprised that was the Yankees' first no hitter since '99.
That is surprising.
I just
don't think I saw that.
Yeah, since David Cohn, '99.
Yeah, I think we're seeing way too many. in my opinion. But, hey, Yankees are still playing pretty good.
Yeah, they are. They swept the White Sox over the weekend. It was an exciting win Friday night. They turn a triple play and then walk them off later in the bottom of the ninth.
The same guy that started the triple play
Gleyber
walked
Torres,
him off.
yep.
Yes.
Then they got a walk-off walk yesterday.
A shrimp.
Yeah, and Saturday they won 7-0. So it was nice. I did remind some of my White Sox friends about it and got some not-so-nice replies, which is fine. But they do the same to me when they beat the Yankees in a series. So,
which doesn't happen very often.
But for my bold predictions, I need the White Sox to be good, which they are a good team.
Yeah, they're good. Winning the division at 26-19 so far, game and a half up on the Indians. It's time for Tony La Russa to pack his bags and get the heck out of town.
Never coach again. Never manage again, I should say.
Jerry Reinsdorf hired his buddy or forced his front office to hire his buddy, and he's starting to lose the locker room.
Didn't take long.
There was already reports that he was losing them in spring training, and now these new comments. Yerman Mercedes for the White Sox hits a home run on a 3-0 pitch against a position player. They're just killing the Twins. I have no problem with it. For one, have fun. It's baseball. And two, the Twins put in a position player so they could save their bullpen. Why should the White Sox take it easy on him at all? Yerman Mercedes, keep doing your thing. Tony La Russa calls him out and says, I don't agree with it. There will be consequences. Tim Anderson comes out and says, keep doing your thing, Yerman. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I hope I'm not pronouncing it wrong. And then he threw his best starting pitcher, Lance Lynn, under the bus. Lance Lynn said, the way of baseball with the unwritten rules is going away. There's a reason why they're unwritten rules, for one, is because they're not actually rules.
Right.
And so Lance Lynn said that, and Tony La Russa goes, there's a reason why I have an office and he has a locker. That's a good way to throw your
your whole team
ace under the bus, lose your entire team. I don't mind the White Sox, and I think they're fun to watch, but I've been rooting against Tony La Russa for as long as I can remember, and it's fun to root against the White Sox. And I don't think he's any better than Rick Renteria.
Yeah.
And old Jerry Reinsdorf forced his front office to hire him. Reinsdorf deserves what he gets.
You're right.
That's as much scoring as possible.
You made an interesting note earlier when you said John Lester is the best free agent acquisition in Cubs history. Who's your top 5?
Oh, man.
I'm throwing you on the spot just because I was like, if I don't do it this week, I'll forget about it.
Ben Zobrist for one hit, essentially. He was a really good player, but he had the biggest hit in the history of the franchise. He'd be in the top 5. A lot of these guys, they got trades because they got Derek Lee in a trade, Ramos Ramirez in a trade, Sammy Sosa in a trade. Free agency hasn't really been around that long. I'm going to look up, was Andre Dawson I don't know if he was a free agent signee or a trade. That was before we were born.
Yes.
Yeah, so Andre Dawson was a free agent, so he'd be in that easily. John Lackey had some good years.
Your boy Ted Lilly.
I love Ted Lilly. He'd probably be in the top 5, I'd say. Probably Alfonso Soriano would be in the top 5 as well.
Yeah.
And he had some pretty good years. He had some really bad years mixed
Ramos
in there
was
as well.
a trade, right?
Ramos was a trade. Derek Lee was a trade. Carlos Zambrano was signed as an international free agent, so that doesn't count because he was 16 years old, I think. A lot of their big acquisitions have been via trades, so I'm sure there's a guy I'm missing that I'm going to get yelled at for. But yeah.
Any more baseball?
Seems like I did have something else, but usually around Memorial Day we see teams kind of fall off and trade rumors start ramping up. So here this week, if you're right on that bubble, you better have a really good week. Kind of like the Twins right now. They're sitting there at 17-29. They're a good team on paper, and they can go on a run. But if they don't do it quick, they're going to have to sell there.
More stadiums starting to open up their capacities.
Yeah. Cubs are going to 60%. White Sox are going to 60%, both on May 28th. Of course, we have the Rangers at 100 and Astros at 100.
Cardinals are going 100 mid-June.
Cardinals are going to 100. Crane Kinney, the Cubs president, said the goal is for Wrigley Field to be 100% by July, which would be fantastic.
July seems like the goal for a lot of sports concerts, all kinds of things to start getting back on the road if they haven't already, and if they have been on the road, to open things up as much as they can.
Please get vaccinated, people. Please. I mean, you showed a picture last night of a vaccinated section at an NBA playoff game and an unvaccinated section in Madison Square Garden. The vaccinated section looked like normal. The unvaccinated section, you were spread out still.
They had it was either 13 or 15,000 in the Garden last night.
Good. Especially New York,
rocking
too.
Because
I bet. And Trae Young silenced them.
Playoff basketball back into the Garden, and Trae Young, as we'll talk about later, silenced them big time. So, who would have thought before the season we were going to get a Knicks-Hawks playoff matchup? Not this guy.
I didn't even know the Hawks were in the playoffs, let alone a 5 seed.
Yeah, pretty good year.
You know who their coach is, right?
Nate McMillan. Yeah. Well,
went 27-10 after he took over after their guy got fired. Think the Pacers screwed that one up.
Pacers should get rid of their coach, but they won't.
Pacers need a new ownership, new front office,
everything.
Tear it to the ground.
They won't.
They refuse to be bad enough to get a top lottery pick.
I mean, it's amazing that Paul George is their only top 10 pick since going back to '89.
Free agents will never want to go there. It's like a huge, big-time free agent signing with the Charlotte Hornets or something like that. It's just not going to happen.
Which the Hornets did get, I guess, at the time. Nope, that was wrong. Nope. They lost Kemba to the Celtics. Never mind.
Yeah.
I was thinking they got him from the Celtics, but that was wrong. Never mind.
Wrong again.
Yep. But before we get into our golf talk here, I want to remind everybody that this podcast is brought to you by Circle 15 Golf. Circle 15 Golf is a brand focused on bringing tour quality products and experience to the everyday golfer like the J-Man and myself.
Sir.
It's built on 25 years of tour experience, featuring the Genesis glove, the most durable and comfortable glove available, and the patented Glove Hub, the first and only glove humidor on the market. You can find these products and more at circle15golf.com, which I'm going to show everybody here, all the viewers, that is, the listeners. You got to go check out the video version to see this. And here you can see, of course, you got the Genesis, the Glove Hub, the Genesis and Glove Hub bundle. You got a 3-pack of Genesis gloves. You got Circle 15 snapback hats, Circle 15 flex fit hats. You got diver repair tools. You got ball markers. You got a little bit of everything. And, of course, they got a nice story about how Circle 15 came to be. And instead of trying to explain it to you, why don't I just let one of the founders, Chris Smith, take it away?
It is all with the idea that every single person is going to have access to PGA Tour caliber product. And I think we've done a great job. Hands down, the best golf school in the North was Ohio State. I couldn't have had a better college experience. And still to this day, when I think about Ohio State, I'm incredibly proud. I'm incredibly glad that I went there, and it's a place that was perfect for me and a place that I loved being at. The transition from top-level college golf to PGA Tour golf seems like it's a quick step. It is a huge leap. I started playing good, and next thing you know, I had some good finishes, and then I win. And they had just that year in 1997, they had just started this whole concept of this battlefield promotion, because they felt like if you could win 3 times on the Nike Tour, then you should go immediately to the PGA Tour. And I remember battling the emotions walking up to the green, and all the sacrifices and all the things you dream of. It was just all coming in. Overwhelming amount of emotion. Circle 15 Golf. It's been a dream of mine for 11 and a half years, and this has been a fun project for me because the team is always looking to innovate. We're always looking to get better. We're always looking to see, okay, what is the next thing that we're going to do to this, or what is the next product that we're going to come up with? And we've come up with some really cool, innovative products that are top-of-the-line tour quality. When you get the glove, you are going to have the same feeling that I had every single time when I was playing a tour event. It is a tour-caliber, tour-quality product that will continue to evolve and continue to get better. I would love to be able to bring that to everybody. 47 years of golf, Started on a 9-hole, 3,000-yard public golf course. 23 years on the PGA Tour. Limited events at this point on the PGA Tour. Back to playing on a public golf course. My life has come full circle, and this is Circle 15 Golf.
But yeah, let's get right into golf talk. The PGA Championship was held at the Ocean Course, Kiawah Island, and it was a fun course. The PGA Championship, or the PGA in general, I think always sets up their major courses better than anybody. They're always tricky, but yet fair, unlike the USGA when they get theirs to be so absurd, it's almost like silly golf out there at times. They set up the course to where it would reward good shots, but so average shots it would not reward. And it was set up to let Mother Nature do its thing. Let the winds whip where they're going to whip. Let it help the wind help where it's going to help. Where it hurt where it's going to hurt. That's a lot of H's there. And I thought it was really enjoyable. I didn't get to watch a ton on Friday and Saturday. I watched a lot on Thursday. And then, of course, yesterday, the final round. And, man, what a fun final round it was. Going into yesterday, Phil Mickelson had a one-stroke lead on Brooks Koepka. A few other guys in the mix, Kevin Streelman. Who else was in the mix there? Louis Oosthuizen. They were really kind of the only four. There was a couple guys that were within 7, 8, 6 shots maybe, but didn't think they really had a chance. Started day yesterday, I thought Brooks Koepka was the guy to beat. Even though Phil had the lead, I said, I don't know if Phil can keep it up. Brooks is good at coming back and winning these things and shooting something low. And Phil's game, we just saw it a week or two ago, 2 weeks now, I guess, in the Wells Fargo tournament over in Quail Hollow. He was the leader round one and then just faded big time. But, I kept waiting for him to do that all weekend long, but here it came into Sunday's round, the final round, and he had the lead. But he was starting to slip on Saturday. Saturday, he had this red-hot first 9. He got up the 5-stroke lead, and by the end of the day, it was a 1-stroke lead. He kind of was just trying to hold on, couldn't get into the clubhouse fast enough. And so yesterday, right out of the get-go, Phil bogeys, Brooks birdies. Boom, tied after one hole. I'm like, here we go. Well, then on the second hole, Brooks double bogeys. So then it flips. Phil gets a lead, and Phil holes out from the bunker on hole 3, which was the first real loud crowd reaction we've had at a sporting event in a long time, that I can remember at least. And then it was kind of back and forth. Phil would hit a good shot, Brooks would hit a good shot, but then Phil kind of got the lead up to about 4 strokes. Then it kind of started dwindling down a little bit, and then he hit enough good shots towards the end. And this was a different Phil Mickelson this week. Phil's usually pretty antsy, but he was slow, calm, cool, collected, even was walking slow. And I think he did that on purpose yesterday because Brooks Koepka's been on record not liking to play with slow guys. So I think he was trying to take Brooks out of his game a little bit. Of course, Phil chews the CBD gum to calm his nerves, which they can do on tour. It's legal. I think that's really helped him. But I was on pins and needles as a Phil fan at the end, just hold on. Just hold on. Didn't know if he'd be able to hold on because so many times he lets it slip at the end. But got it done and made history at the age of 50. The big 50, almost 51. He'll turn 51 here in a couple weeks. He wins a major. Jack was the oldest at 46 before Phil, and now Phil does it at 50. And I thought that his last major was going to be the 13 British Open, which was the last one he had won. But he's now won majors in 3 different decades, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s.
How many players have done that?
That's a great question. I do not know off the top of my head. Can't be more than a couple. I kept thinking Brooks yesterday. If Brooks would have won, it would have been his 5th major. He would have tied Mickelson for majors already. Wow. For 5. There would have been 3 PGAs and 2 U.S. Opens.
And he's done that like the past what?
He would have been the first guy ever to win 3 PGAs in a 4-year span. Which would have been pretty impressive.
How many years would it have been if he would have won to tie him? Would it have been just like 4 years for him to do that?
I don't know how long Brooks has been on tour, but yeah, he started winning majors just back in 2018. 2018 he won the PGA and the U.S. Open.
It's so hard to win a major, and he just...
he gets locked in. I mean, we mentioned him last week when we were talking about our favorites to win, and he hadn't been playing good. He was coming off knee surgery, missed the cut the week before at Wells Fargo, and or not at Wells Fargo, down at the Byron Nelson, and then he just gets locked in for some reason. It's like, in his mind, these other tournaments don't matter, which there was an argument the other day on the Golf Channel. Well, if he wins this, can we consider him one of the greatest of all time already, even though he doesn't have a ton of overall tournament wins, but he has 5 majors? I would consider him one of the greatest of all time. The majors just count for more than these other tournaments. But Phil got his 6th, ties him for, I think, tied for 12th all time. I think he's definitely gotten to be in everybody's top 10 greatest golfers ever now. I know one guy was saying, I think he's about top 12, but I don't think he's top 10. I'm like, man, what he did yesterday at the age of 50, he just proved once again golf is a sport that doesn't judge on age or anything like that. I mean, the golf ball doesn't care how old you are, how far you can hit it, even though it helps a lot. It's whoever can get the ball in the cup in the fewest amount of strokes, and he's done that. And Phil, you got to give credit where credit's due. The guy works on his game tirelessly, endlessly. I mean, he works on Saturday night on the range, they were showing him on the Golf Channel. He has 4 different driver heads. He's tinkering with driver heads the night before the final round of a major championship in which he's leading. That's crazy. Yep. It's like, why would you mess with something? But that's just Phil being Phil. He's always looking for the advantage for himself, kind of like Bryson DeChambeau. Love him or hate him, he's trying to find what's going to work for him. So, but Phil is a man of the people. He's a fan favorite. You could see that yesterday on hole 18. That was a little bit of a scary looking sight, but it was also really exciting seeing all those people. And I heard today on the PGA Tour radio on Sirius XM, they only had marshals and security for 10,000 people, and there was more than 10,000 there. So that's how it kind of got out of control towards the end, to where Phil and Brooks kind of got swallowed up by people when they were trying to make their way to the green. But fun tournament overall. Happy for Phil.
Did you see that picture of Phil when he was 20, side by side with Phil at 50? It looks the exact same.
His face hasn't changed much.
Not at all. It still has a baby face.
His body has a little bit. Of course, he wears shades now, and his hair is a little different, and he wears a hat. But he goes through different styles and spurts. But I think, playing a little bit on the senior tour helped him.
Yeah.
He got a couple wins on senior tour earlier this year. Just get some kind of confidence rolling. This was his first win on tour, and I want to say since 2018. He won a World Golf Championship down in Mexico. A lot of people thought he was done. They were writing him off. He hadn't had a top 20 finish coming into this tournament this year. And
I think most people did think he was done.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar to the Tiger Woods winning the Masters a little bit.
Yeah.
As far as guys that were on top of the world. Back at about the same time, those guys were unbelievable. And then go away for a while and then win a big one.
And this probably gives Tiger motivation once he gets healthy to come back, because he is, I think, 45, maybe 46. So he's a few years younger than Phil, and maybe he has one more crack at it somewhere down the line. But this gets Phil exemption to everything for the next 5 years.
Nice.
So he's going to be teeing it up at the U.S. Open when he's 55. And that just, I think, as long as he can compete on tour, he won't go full-time Champions Tour on the senior tour. But good for him, good for Phil, good for the game of golf. Really cool moment yesterday. Brooks Koepka, he'll get more. He'll get more majors, I'm sure of it. I was just happy my guy Ricky Fowler not only made the cut, but got a top 10 finish, first top 10 finish of the year. Could have been top 5 if he would have made that last putt on the last hole that lipped out, and that would have got him exemption into next year's Masters. But at least it's a confidence builder, hopefully going forward, to where he can play better, get in the U.S. Open, which is only 3 weeks away. Our next major is only 3 weeks away.
Man.
And it's at Torrey Pines, where Phil grew up playing. The U.S. Open's the one major Phil's never got. I'm not saying he's got to get it. Not going to get greedy at all. But I think Phil earned himself a spot on this year's Ryder Cup team, which is crazy because I didn't think he would make it. I don't know how they can't take him now. But old man still got it.
Yep, Lefty.
Lefty still got it. And fun tournament. Looking forward to the U.S. Open. Got the Memorial coming up next week. That's one of the bigger non-majors over at Jack's Place on Muirfield Village in Columbus, Ohio, or Dublin, Ohio, I should say. Golf's still in a good spot because you got the mix of the young guns. You got a mix of the old guys. Some of the young guns didn't play well. Justin Thomas missed the cut. Dustin Johnson missed the cut. Jordan Spieth made the cut, didn't play well. Your boy Rory, The curse is so real. The J-Man curse is so real. Made the cut, didn't play well, but we know J-Man's going to go with them in 3 weeks for the U.S. Open.
Absolutely. I'll book it right now if you want me to.
But fun tournament. I enjoyed watching that Kiawah at the Island Course. They hosted the 2012 PGA Championship, hosted the Ryder Cup back in '91. So it's hosted big events, and they did it right. So just exciting to see fans in large droves back at golf events again. So.
This episode's brought to you by The Dam Landing. Whether you want an epic burger, hand-tossed pizza, hand-breaded tenderloin, seafood, or a craft beer or a handcrafted cocktail, The Dam Landing is the place to be. The Dam Landing is a bar and grill located on beautiful Lake Manitou that focuses on freshness and quality. Dam Smoke is here every single weekend. It features barbecue and steaks. In addition, you can wash it down with one of their 16 beers on tap, including a constant rotation of today's best microbrews and domestic flavors, or a handcrafted cocktail made using fresh ingredients. Take in the fantastic views of Lake Manitou in their beer garden or outdoor bar area. Whether it be boats or wheels, the Dam Landing is the place to be, located at 1305 Ewing Road in Rochester. I'm sure it was packed this past weekend.
I guarantee you. It's I guess this time of year where a lot of people from the lake that don't really live in Fulton County, but have lake places come out, and the dam's usually pretty busy, as it should be.
Yep. Do you want to get educated?
Yep.
On this day in 1918, Cleveland Indians Stan Kovaleski sets club record for most innings pitched as the Indians beat the Yankees 3-2. He threw 19 innings that day.
That's before the
Cubs took over.
Cubs became the South Bend Cubs. They used to be South Bend Silverhawks. Kovaleski Stadium, named after him.
Yep.
Now it's Four Winds Field, right? Four Winds Field.
Four Winds, yeah.
1928,
a record 12 future Hall of Famers take the field as the Yankees beat the Athletics 9-7.
Wow.
Could you imagine if you had a ticket to that game? I'm sure all those people are pretty much dead.
Probably, and even back then, they probably knew they were watching good players, but didn't realize the greatness they were watching.
On this day in 1930, Babe Ruth homered in both games of a doubleheader, which gave him 9 home runs that week.
It's a good week.
It's an insane week.
You know, one of the hottest weeks hitting, I don't remember what year it was, Tino Martinez, 1 year for the Yankees, hit like 10 in a week.
Yeah, I know Griffey had a week where he hit like 9 or 10. It was close to a record. I don't remember Tino Martinez.
Yeah, it was. I think we were in high school at the time, and it was maybe middle school even. It was crazy. It was just like every night,
out of nowhere,
Tino hit another homer. Tino, I'm like, he's not even that much of a power hitter. Where is this coming from? But
1935, the first Major League night baseball game was played in Cincinnati, home of the worst chili imaginable.
Oh, come on.
Reds beat
Skyline's
the Phillies
good stuff.
2-1. Skyline is like something you just drag out of a garbage can.
Nope.
You just let all the excess food just pile up in the bottom of a garbage can, and then you put it on hot dogs.
Nah.
And add tomato paste.
Nope. Give me a 3-way with spaghetti, chili, and shredded cheese. I got one of the frozen ones up in my freezer right now.
Skyline chili is an abysmal excuse for a meal.
I got the frozen ones up in my freezer right now. I could go for a 3-way spaghetti, chili, and cheese, and give me some chili cheese conies as well.
Nah.
Yep. We're going to agree to disagree there, my friend.
1964, panic in a Lima, Peru soccer stadium kills 300. I think they just like stampeded over each other.
I think you're
if
right.
I remember.
Not good.
1967, the AFL grants a franchise to the...
67?
Yeah.
Well, 66 was Denver. Just can't be them. Or actually, 60 was Denver. I was wrong there. 60, but then they came to NFL in 66. 67, AFL. It's Cowboys?
Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, a lot of Cincinnati stuff tonight.
Who won the Indianapolis 500 in 1981?
Let's go with Foyt.
No. Bobby Unser. Cross finish line ahead of Mario Andretti. Unser was disqualified for pit lane infraction, though, but later reinstated for his third race victory. Makes no sense. Who won the 1986 Stanley Cup?
86? Mm-hmm. Let's go with the Canadians.
Yeah, over the Calgary Flames.
All right. I know the 80s was a lot of the Canadian teams kind of dominated the 80s.
Who won the 1987 Indy 500?
87. Let's go with, come on. 87. I'm thinking. Let's go with Andretti.
Al Unser Sr.
Dang it. It's like 5 families. Yeah, I can never guess them right.
Who won the 1990 Stanley Cup final?
1990. Okay, 93 was the Canadians. 1990. So, Ron, let's go with the Bruins.
Edmonton Oilers beat the Boston Bruins. That was the Oilers' 5th Cup win in 7 years.
When Wayne Gretzky was playing for them.
Who won the 92 Indy 500, the year we were born?
92. Going Andretti.
Al Unser Jr. You got to start picking Unsers, man.
Yeah, I know what's going to happen. Then go, Al Unser.
Yep.
Nope. Dang.
Let's see.
I'm not good with my Indy 500 trivia. If that hasn't been picked up on you.
Who won in 98?
98's like a newer guy, probably.
That was 23 years ago now.
I'm going to go with Al Unser Jr.
Eddie Cheever Jr. You got the junior part, right?
Good.
Who won 2009?
Okay. 09. Tony Kanaan?
Helio Castroneves.
One of his like 3 or 4 wins.
What about 2015?
Scott Dixon?
I lost it already. Juan Pablo Montoya.
Old NASCAR guy. Well, IndyCar, then NASCAR, then back to IndyCar.
That's it. That's all I got for you.
I did not do well. I failed big time.
I feel like we gained knowledge, though.
We did. Now we're ready to rock and roll in Indy 500 trivia. But a company who will not fail you is the sponsor for the On This Day segment. That's Proforma Print House. If you're looking for a trustworthy, dependable resource for your next trade show, company picnic, or sales meeting, Proforma Print House has over 50 years of combined experience in promotional products and commercial print. They strive for fast and efficient response for all your print needs. You need to look no further. Let them be your one-source print and promotional company by giving them a call today or tonight at 574-210-3815.
Get some stuff.
Who are you picking for this year's Indianapolis 500?
Give me the top 10, and I'll pick a name.
Well, let me look it up for you.
I'll even go one better, and I'll book a name.
You're gonna book a name, huh? Well, according to the sportingnews.com, here's your top 10 in the odds. You got Scott Dixon as the favorite.
This will be the J-Man's Booker prediction of the week. Scott Dixon, whom I've just now heard of, will absolutely win the Indianapolis 500 this year. Absolutely.
How many laps to go lead?
Put all your money. How many laps is there? 500?
No, it's a 500-mile race.
How many laps is that?
So it's
250? Is it 2 miles?
No. I gotcha. Just keep
J-Man's Book prediction of the week is brought to you by Indiana Farm
200
Bureau.
laps. You're right.
200?
200 laps. What did you say, 250? 200
Yeah.
laps.
He'll lead for 197 of them.
Oh, my gosh. No way. That'd be a record. No, that would shatter a record. No way.
Travis Watchering sponsors the J-Man's Book prediction of the week. Life, home, auto, renters, business, workers' comp, and farm insurance. Contact Travis at 219-869-4561. His email is travis.watchering@infb.com.
Yeah, Colton Herta, second in the odds.
Old Colt.
Back
Patricio.
Patricio Award.
Patricio Award.
Third, Joseph Newgarden. Fourth, Alex
Palou.
Fifth, my guy, I'm picking Alexander Rossi.
I've heard of him, I think.
Sixth, Tony Kanaan. Seven, Graham
Heard
Rahal.
of Kanaan, absolutely, and Rahal.
I've picked Rahal in the past on this show and it didn't go good for him. Rinus VK. Marcus Erickson. Yeah. Takumo Soto. He won 1 year when we were
Yeah, that name did sound familiar.
talking about this. Ryan Hunter-Ray. Ed Carpenter. Who's your guy? Will
Eddie.
Power. Hilo Castroneves. Juan Pablo Montoya. Marco Andretti. Connor Daly. James Hinchcliffe's back there. J.R. Hildenbrand's towards the end, bottom.
I've heard about 4% of those names, so.
So we will see. We will see. Should be fun. It's, how many are they having? 160 in Speedway this year?
Huh?
160,000 at the Speedway this year?
Couldn't tell you.
You were killing me, J-Man.
Don't ask me. I didn't even know it was this. I forgot it was Memorial Day. Or my word association would have been NASCAR drivers or NASCAR IndyCar.
I was preparing for the IndyCar driver. I would have just picked the funniest sounding names. I thought you were going to do that tonight. So
Didn't even think about it.
I was prepared for it. That's embarrassing.
Mine's off topic now.
135,000 fans they're going to allow this year.
It's pretty good. Pretty good number.
It holds about 350.
Does it?
With everything included, with infield and all that.
30% or something.
Yeah, still going to be by far the biggest event since the pandemic.
Yeah.
So, by far.
You want to hear word association?
I do.
It is broadcasters.
Oh, this could be interesting.
Starting with Stephen A. Smith.
Just an embarrassment.
Loud.
I mean, he made that comment about his name's escaping me. Angels pitch. He pitches and hits. Angels.
Shohei Ohtani?
Yes.
What did he say?
He said he's not a good hitter because he's hitting 270. This past week. You didn't see me.
He hasn't watched baseball.
You didn't see me tweet that and said, how does this guy have a job where he makes millions of dollars a year?
I didn't see that. How? He doesn't watch baseball then.
Ohtani. Yeah, I just could not think of his name. Shohei Ohtani.
Punch him in the face.
Yep.
Speaking of punching in the face, Max Kellerman.
Boxing, because that's just what I remember. It doesn't. I don't watch him enough.
He was the first host of Around the Horn, wasn't he?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
Joe Buck.
Fox. He's a Fox guy. He's boring for my taste. I think he's good at his job, but he's boring.
He's grown on me baseball-wise.
Yeah.
I don't like when he does Cubs-Cardinal games, though.
I just Fox and the Cowboys is kind of what I...
Honestly, I think I'd like Joe Buck and Jim Nantz better if they were paired with more likable... I can't stand Romo. Cannot stand him.
I like Romo and Nantz.
Aikman's so boring. I like Nantz a little better now that he's not paired with Phil Simms, because Phil Simms...
Yeah, he was bad.
Phil Simms made a...
I'm more like Nantz for golf and college basketball. But of course
I think Nantz is really good college basketball. Jim Nantz.
Best job in the world.
Yeah, it's a good one. He needs to be getting paid more than Tony Romo
NFL,
does.
Then Final Four, then the Masters. Mm. Boom, boom, boom.
It's a good one. Gets the summers off. Well, golf, I guess.
He lives on Pebble Beach.
He golfed at Houston, didn't he? Did he golf?
Yeah, he was. Well, I don't know if he golfed now, but he was Fred Couples' roommate.
Okay.
Houston, at least for a year.
Something with golf.
Yep.
Colin Cowherd.
Hate when my dad puts him on. When my dad comes over during his lunch break and puts him on my TV. I'm not a fan. I think he makes outlandish things, then he walks them back 5 weeks later. Doesn't stick by his predictions at all.
Nope. Rich Eisen.
I like Rich Eisen. Run, Rich, Run. I like his show on SiriusXM. I think he does a good job. Mm-hmm. Like him on the NFL Network a lot.
Trey Wingo.
Indifferent. I mean, I think he's fine. I don't really have an opinion on him.
He's no longer with ESPN.
No, I think I have no problem with him whatsoever.
Buster Olney.
Baseball nerd.
I hate him.
I
hate all national.
He's the baseball scoop guy. I mean, he is the
Ken Rosenthal's a scoop guy.
Okay,
but Olney's the guy that likes to piggyback on Rosenthal's. Likes to ride his coattails.
Anyway. It's kind of like, well, I don't want to say Ian because I like Ian Rappaport. I was going to say like him and Scheffner, but yeah, I'm not going to repeat those guys.
Al Michaels.
Legend.
Yep, absolutely. Chris Collinsworth, his partner.
Growing on me. Slide in.
I like Collinsworth.
Slide in. He's growing on me. I
don't mind him at all.
There's one time I couldn't stand him. He's growing on me.
Tony Romo.
Amazing knowledge. Like, he can see the play developing before he can predict the play developing before it even happens.
He's really good at that.
That's what just blows my mind.
He needs to stop talking so much.
He does talk a lot.
Let the game kind of breathe. And he just, it's nonstop talking. That's not what we want. We want to watch the game.
Sure gets paid a lot.
He gets paid way too much. Troy Aikman. Boringest guy in sports.
Yeah, he fits his partner Buck pretty well. Pretty boring.
Mel Kiper.
Just annoying. I mean, just, guy that talks too much.
Chris Berman.
Don't know how he keeps getting extensions at ESPN.
It's probably because he was one of the first guys there, I imagine.
Back.
So does he doesn't call that anymore, does he?
I'm sure he does on highlights, but he doesn't really do highlights, but he still does the rumbling, bumbling, stumbling on NFL highlights.
I used to miss his NFL highlight show. What was that called? Was it
NFL Tonight?
It might have been.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
about. It was MLB Tonight.
Him and Tom Jackson did it.
I forget what that was called, but I used to love it. Skip Bayless, last one.
No. Punchable. Can't stand him. He's in my top 5 least favorite sports media.
This was not a list of who would you want to push in front of a car. he would be at the top of the list.
He'd be, I'm not, no, that's just mean to say. No.
I have no problem saying mean things.
Nope, I'm not going to say that on
Come
air.
after me, FCC.
I'm not going to say that on air. Because there's one guy I like a lot worse than him. But
Who is it?
Johnny Miller.
Oh, yeah.
I can't stand him. I'm so glad he doesn't call golf anymore.
Golf was better back in his day.
Oh, that guy.
It was more difficult.
How did he miss that putt? He should make that 9 out of 10 times. Like, dude, you quit the game for missing short putts. I don't want to hear it. Oh, he never said anything.
Didn't he have the lowest major round ever until a
Justin
guy
Thomas tied it?
Yeah, and he
thought he was going to cry.
Yeah, he probably wasn't too happy at that. He was probably rooting against him.
I can't stand. He probably roots against America in the Ryder Cup. That's what type of guy he is.
That was it.
Yeah, it's man, good list. I like that list. The Word Associated segment is brought to you by Rhett Lee, attorney at law. Rhett Lee and the law office of Andrew Key LLC are located at 206 4th Street in Logansport, Indiana. Rhett provides legal services to the people of North Central Indiana and practices criminal defense, family law, and personal injury. If you need a lawyer who cares about your results and will fight for you, give him a call today to schedule a free consultation at 574-722-2221.
NBA playoffs have just started. We had some play-in games. Pacers are done.
Yeah. Smoked. Got smoked.
Golden State Warriors are done. Should have beat the Lakers.
Yeah.
They were up 15, I believe, at half, and then lost to the Grizzlies. I actually watched the end of that. That was a really good game at the end.
That was a good game.
Who else is out? Hornets are out. Who else on the western side is out? Who did the Grizzlies beat in the play-in?
Spurs,
they're out. Yeah. So the Lakers lost their first one, which I've found myself really rooting against the Lakers.
I think everybody is, besides Laker and LeBron fans.
Suns are good, though. And I mean, Lakers were the first 7 seed, I think, ever to be favored in a series against a 2 seed. As we mentioned, the Knicks playing their first playoff game in the Garden since I think it was 2012 or 13.
13, I believe.
The Hawks took them to the wire, and Trae Young hit a little floater with 0.7 seconds left, 0.9 seconds left to beat
Silence the crowd.
the Knicks. Grizzlies are up 1-0 on the 1 seed Utah Jazz. Donovan Mitchell did not play.
A big part
he was scratched early, or late, I should say. He was a late scratch. And he's their best player. And I think he was shocked. The team was shocked that he was scratched. I don't know why they did it. It's the playoffs. You need to play through that kind of stuff. And he wanted to, and the team wouldn't let him.
Yeah, one game could be the whole difference in series.
Yeah.
I thought Dallas got a big win. Didn't see that coming.
Huge, yeah. Who'd they beat?
Clippers.
That's right.
Pretty easily. Sixers got a win yesterday.
Yep, they're up 1-0 on the I just saw it. Now I lost it. I've been bad with my NBA, the Wizards.
Yeah. Nets won. They took care of business the other night.
Bucks are up 1 game. That was a good game as well. 2-point game against Miami. Nets won by 11 against the Celtics.
The Miami's jerseys were horrible the other night. They looked like the Pacers jerseys.
They looked like the Pacers jerseys. Yeah.
Big game, Bucks Heat tonight, and a crucial game for the Nuggets already. Nuggets Blazers. If Nuggets lose this one, they're not going to win series.
Who wins?
I think both home teams win tonight.
I agree.
I think the Bucks and Nuggets.
I think Bucks end up sweeping.
Yeah.
The Heat, and I think the Nuggets Blazers go 7.
It's wild to think the Heat made the finals last year in the bubble.
Forgot about that.
You were a Heat fan last year.
That's right. I haven't been as loyal of a follower this year as I was last year.
Well, Myers Leonard is he even on the team anymore?
He's not on any team anymore, and he probably will never be on a team anymore. Let's be honest. Kendrick Nunn's on it though.
Yeah,
he's gonna get paid too. It sounds like.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. I will say the NBA playoffs are so much more entertaining to watch than the NBA regular season, as it should be. But
I was going to say, I think you can say that for about every sport.
Everybody tries so much harder, and usually you get some pretty good games that come down to the wire.
Yeah.
Ready for Birdie Bogey again?
I think I have it.
All right.
I think I have it. Let me hear it again.
All right. So there's one NFL player that each of the last 5 seasons has rushed for at least 8 touchdowns each of those seasons. Who is it?
The guy I think it is, I had him on my fantasy team at least 2 of those years, and he had really good seasons. And I know he's had good seasons the past couple years as well. I don't know if he got to the 8 touchdowns this past year, but this guy is Melvin Gordon.
Give yourself a birdie.
Nailed it?
Yep. Saw it on ESPN today. I'm like, nah, Josh isn't going to get this. Because I had no idea.
I was thinking Dalvin Cook, but I don't think he's been in the league 5 years.
He was a little banged up last year. I had no idea he had 8 touchdowns last year, and he did. And he's got to be, because they were talking about the Broncos NFL Network, how he'll be their main guy this year. Devontae Williams will be the backup because Philip Lindsay's now in Houston. So
I was thinking, there's no way Adrian Peterson has done it. Saquon Barkley, he hasn't been in the league 5 years.
Josh Allen was up there.
Really? He's only been in the league
4 years. Yeah.
Huh.
He's done it.
I was thinking maybe Lamar Jackson, but he's only been a starter for 2.
No.
No, 3, 2.5. That's a good question. Derrick Henry was my second.
That's what I thought you were going to guess. He was up there with 4, I believe.
But I didn't know if he'd been in the league. And I knew his first year or 2 he wasn't great, and then he had that breakout game against the Jags where he had 99-yard touchdown run.
What's the overall standings for the year look like?
For what?
Birdie Bogey.
Oh,
between you and I.
I'm +1, you're even.
I got 1 stroke lead.
Stroke, yep. Thanks for watching the Tan and J-Man Show live on the ISC Sports Network. We'll be back at it next Monday with some hot takes.
Yes, we will be back on Memorial Day, same time.
Oh, yeah, it's Memorial Day.
So everybody, second time you've done that this show. So everybody have a great Memorial Day weekend. If you're spending time with friends and family, have a good time. Hopefully the weather's nice enough you can grill out and maybe enjoy some pool time.
I grill out when it's 4 below 0.
He does. So. True story. Watch the 500. Do whatever you normally do. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Tan and J-Man Show. Buy some merchandise. TanandJManShowStore.com. And like J-Man said, we'll be back next week, Monday night, 6:30 Eastern Time, right here on the ISC Sports Network. Have a great one, everybody.